Hello everyone and welcome back to my grimoires series where I share with you how to create the perfect grimoire for you and your magical practice. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas of Book of Shadows formats because I have tried so many formats of a grimoire or a Book of Shadows because there's just so many ways you can do it, but there's pros and cons for each. So today I'm going to be sharing with you every single possible Book of Shadows format I could possibly think of, and I'm going to be sharing pros and cons for each so that you can think about ones that you've been considering. You can think about if the one you've got at the moment is right for you. You can think about trying a new one and seeing potentials of ones that you haven't thought of and seeing ones that might work better for you, because there are endless options of ways that you can have a Book of Shadows, whether it's physically, whether it's digitally, whether it's audio, literally anything. You have so many ideas that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So let's just get started. So the first one, this is the most common one, I would say, from what I've come across, but personally for me, I think that the most common one is a small... Wait, no, that's not it. Is an A5 notebook. So this is the one I've had most commonly, and it is a good size, but there's some pros and cons with it. So the issue with this size is perfectionism creeps in. So because of the size of the pages, it can be difficult to fit everything that you want on one page, and especially if you're planning out content, I use this as my content book now. It's not a Book of Shadows anymore. So all the videos you see on this channel, it's either written in here or it's written in here, mostly here now, or digitally, or just in my brain. I just put the camera on. But anyway, so it can be really hard to fit everything you want onto this page, and also to find one with lines that are the right size, because these lines are quite big, and all of these small details, they sound silly, but they are so important, because when you have a tiny issue with your Book of Shadows or something that you don't really vibe with, it can create friction and make you less likely to use your Book of Shadows, and that can be really, really bad, because then you will do less research with the things that you want to learn for your magical practice. It will make you note down things less, and you don't want to forget anything that you could have easily written down if you had a better Book of Shadows. So yes, this one is really, really great if you don't really care much about perfectionism, but I found it's so hard to make something perfectly a page, or it would annoy me if I had a little bit left and I had to write it on the next page in a tiny bit, and then I didn't have anything else to write about, and then it was just a blank page. Or do I go on to a different topic on the same page, and then how do I organise it? It's something that needs a lot of thought, but it's great because a lot of these size you have a marker, so you can put where you are. You can also get little tabs that you can stick in and put post-it notes in it so that you can flick to certain pages. You can also count how many pages there are in the book and then divide it up into different sections. So you can have a section on divination, section on crystals, section on herbs. So yes, you can do that. But yeah, this is the most common one that I have used, but it has never worked for me, and it is the reason why I don't currently have a Book of Shadows, and I'm hoping to have one by the end of this series. That is why I am creating this series at this moment. So yes, it is... I don't know, it might work for you. What have I written about an A5 notebook? This is what I'd usually opt for, but my perfectionism would always kick in. You can fit more information in it than an A6, because we're doing this in a different order than I wrote it. You can fit more information in it, but it still isn't enough. Difficult if one day you start researching something and then you want to research something else, but then you want to go back to the original idea, but you don't know how much space to leave. It is a good size to fit in a bag if you want to travel to places. It's not too heavy. You can get bigger ones, like thicker ones with more pages in. You can also get thinner paged ones if you want one for just like a tiny bit of your craft. Because what's really, really great and something to consider is that this Book of Shadows doesn't have to be the Book of Shadows for the rest of your life. So don't worry about having a really, really massive, thick one you have to carry around. Don't worry about making it perfect. I've personally found in my craft that having a Book of Shadows for the time of my craft that I was in is the best thing to do, because sometimes you have like a revelation in your practice and you feel like, wow, I need a whole new Book of Shadows. You can, as I said, get bigger ones with more pages. You can also choose if you want lines or no lines. You could even have a bullet journal one. You could have one with little squares in. You could have one with coloured pages. You could have one made of recycled paper. You could even make one. You can make your own paper. That is an idea that's somewhere in this video. But yeah, so that is an interesting one. But yeah, there are pros and cons. The next one is a small A6 notebook. Now this one is a cool idea, but I don't think it would work for the average witch, but I find that it's a great thing to have in addition to a bigger book, because you can take it out like on the field. You can like go out and have walks in nature, and when you have like different ideas you can jot it down in your book, or if you want to research something but you don't want to lug a massive book about, then you can just write stuff down, and then you can just have it as like an ideas book, or you can then transfer that information into a bigger book and write it out more neatly. So that can be a great idea, to have it as like a rough book and then transfer the information over. Or I love to have them as just like ideas books. So wherever I go, I try and take a small notebook with me, so I can use it for anything related to my craft. So yes. So the pros of a small A6 notebook is you can take it anywhere. There are so many different patterns that you can get, so many designs and all sorts. You can get them customized, you could get them made for you on Etsy with a really, really nice design that you like. You can make them yourself. You could decorate one that you get to make it more witchy and more personalized to your personal practice. It can fit in your pocket if you have like big pockets. If you have like really, really little pockets, it might not fit, but yeah, often they can fit in your pocket, so you can always take it around with you. You don't even need to take a bag. It is inexpensive. You can get them pretty much anywhere. They're not too costly because they're really little. There's nice designs to choose, and you can get really good quality ones because they're really, really little, so they might be cheaper than getting a really good quality like A5 or A4 book. So that can be a really nice idea. And yes, you could also have like a leather bound one that could be really, really nice, and like a really, really nice thing to have in your practice because it feels like really old and witchy and like good quality. You could have one that's hardback if you like little hardback books. So you can easily lean on it, especially if you're out in nature. Having like a hardback grimoire is perfect, because you don't have to like find something to lean on. So yes, but also there are cons with an A6 notebook to have as your Book of Shadows or grimoire if that was going to be your main one. Firstly, you cannot fit a lot on each page, obviously, because it's A6, it's really, really little. They don't last very long, so if you have a lot to write in them, they might not last very long because of the pages are so small. You might find it hard to be detailed with your entries because the pages are so little if you are treating it as like a proper Book of Shadows. You can't reorganise pages unless you buy one that has like pages where you can like move them about, but you can Tipp-Ex or glue pages on top. Like you can Tipp-Ex over stuff you've written that you don't like, and then you can write on top of it. I do this all the time with mini notebooks because I have ones that have like my heart and soul in them, and if I write something and then I like later on don't resonate with it anymore, then I can Tipp-Ex it out and write something else that I do resonate with it, so then the whole book is just perfect for me at that exact moment and I don't have to do any tearing out or anything like that. So yeah, you can also add extra pages, you can add little envelopes and put notes in it. and stuff like that. So you can add more to it, and you can like add like dried leaves in it, you can add stamps in it, you can add stickers in it and all sorts, but it is still quite a small notebook. So yes, because like if you wanted to reorganize it and rip the pages out, it might make it really messy, that might be really sad for you, or that might be the look that you're going for. So yes, however, they work out great as a journal. So if you just have a couple ideas, they can be a really, really fun thing to write, and then you can look back on your journal entries and you can see if there's any patterns in the things that you wrote when you were journaling. You can use them as like little tarot journals, or just if you're out in nature, like all of the things that you think when you're walking about. So yes. Next, we're going to move to the next size notebook, which is an A4 notebook. Now, I found this is a great size to have as a book of shadows, but sometimes it can be a bit big. So, I've written here, I thought an A4 notebook would solve all my issues, but it is just created more. Sometimes you don't have enough to say for a whole page, or it doesn't all fit, but you don't need 2 whole pages. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. A4 can be brilliant. Some of my favourite grimoires like this, I kind of count as a grimoire, because even though it's just like my video ideas, like it is witchcraft, I had a big A4 grimoire you can see in the previous episode, and it was just so great because you can write so much on a page, but sometimes it's too much space. But it's also good because you can leave yourself space for like a later date to add more to it. So it can be a great idea if you want to have something more like you add stuff as and when, so you've got extra space, but then sometimes you don't know how many pages to leave if you want to leave an extra page, unless you get one that you can move the pages about. But yeah, it is an interesting size. I don't know if I written, oh no, I didn't write this one. Yeah, another size I absolutely love, I think it's B6 or B5. Where is it? When I was writing my novel, I wrote a load of it in like B6. I think it's B6 or B5, but it's like in between an A4 and an A5, and it is the perfect size. Like, this is not enough, but this is too much. So it is just like such a great size. You can fit so much on a page, but then the page isn't too long. So I think the book that I think I'm going to turn into a book of shadows, oh, it's down here. I think this is that kind of size. It's just a really nice size. If you see my hand, I have quite a big hand because I'm quite tall, but yeah, it's just quite a nice size because it's not A4. Like, compare it to an A4. It's just such, yeah, I really love this size because you can like write a lot in that, especially as that's got thin lines, if you can see that. So yeah, that could be a good idea. But yeah, anyway, next one is a binder. I tried this once and it was so like ugly because I didn't do it properly because I was literally like 12. But if you do it nicely and you buy like a nice binder, it can be so brilliant. Or a folder, binder, same thing. So yeah, you can have like a lever arch folder, so you can put so much in there. You can get ones with really nice witchy patterns, which can be really, really cool. You can decorate binders really easily. You can put stickers on them, so they can be really, really nice and witchy. And what's really, really great is, and one day I think I'm going to end up having one like this, is you can print out Book of Shadows pages. So if you make a mistake, then you can go back and like edit it online, and then you can reprint it out again. Or if you learn more information, you can add it to the page, and then you can add images onto the page, you can add photos onto the page, you can like glue stuff on and have it like all together in a nice binder, and it's not as messy because it's a binder, and it's just really, really cool. Like if you print something out like that's an article or something that you really, really like, you can just add it, you can hole punch it in, or you can put like some nice Polly Pockets in. It can be a really, really cool idea, and you can move stuff around, you can have different sections. So yeah, that is a very popular way of having like a physical Book of Shadows or grimoire. So yes, it is a really, really good idea. And you can get really, really artsy ones if you save for them. You can get ones that even have like leather, like a leather outside. So yeah, if you save up for them, like the really, really good quality ones, that can be such a cool investment into your practice. So yes, the next one is one I touched on earlier, which is a completely handmade notebook. Now, this takes so much effort, but it can be such a amazing thing to do. I don't know how good quality it will be, depends how much paper you've made before, but I saw, I used to be obsessed with this YouTuber called Hannah Lee Duggan. You might have watched her. She makes such amazing aesthetic videos of her life out in the countryside. She lives in some log cabins, or she did when I watched her. And the video that made me find her like years ago was her making paper, and she got a load of like egg boxes and she like ripped them up and put them in water and used like these framey things, and she made like sheets of paper, and she could like write on it, and you could like bind them together into a notebook. So there is so many potentials of things you could do with this. You could use moon water to make the paper. You could like charge the water with a certain energy. You could put like magic into it in so many different ways. You could add dried herbs into the water. Like, there's just so many possibilities that you can do if you made a handmade notebook like completely by yourself. It would be such a cool thing to do if you want to put all that time and effort into it. But yeah, what have I said? I've said it's completely made by you, so you can charm it, you can put your energy into it, and you could even put herbs in it because you can make paper from grass. It could be grass from a special spiritual place. You can make it so you can move the pages around and change the layout and cover often if you want. Takes lots of energy, but it could be really cool. And then, yeah, I said it about where I found this idea. So yeah, highly recommend Hannah Lee Duggan's channel as well. That's what I wrote here. Next one is a scrapbook. Now, I tried this once for the Wheel of the Year, and it's such a cool idea, but I didn't have the investment to keep buying photos and keep buying stuff to put into scrapbooks. But if you are an avid scrapbooker anyway, it can be so cool to buy a big scrapbook to have as your book of shadows, especially as they do them with brown paper, and it can look so witchy. You can add witchy stickers of like plants and crystals and all sorts, and you can write it in a really, really nice pen, and it can look like the book of shadows from Charmed. It can be such a cool idea if you want to do that, and then you can glue stuff in. You can make it really messy and scrappy and all sorts. So yeah, that is a really, really fun idea to have as a book of shadows, especially if you are a more artsy person, if you love being creative. And yes, the next one is a USB stick. I tried this once and it was so cool, but I was way too young to really expand the full possibilities of using a USB stick, and now USB sticks are a bit like iffy because you can't use them for like public computers. So unless you're always going to use it in your computer, it can be strange. But anyway, or a disc or a CD, a DVD, like a disc or a USB stick, you can use it as like instead of having it like on the cloud or saved into your computer, you can carry it around physically with you. And you can also get one that's like, it looks really witchy. You can get USB sticks that look like things. So I tried this for a while, and it's such a good idea. I tried this before clouds were a thing, so like iCloud, blah, blah, blah. And it was great before they introduced that rule in schools where you can't use USB sticks because of viruses. You can also get a cute one. You can wear it as a necklace. You can put protection magic on it. But yeah, it's such a cool idea, and I really loved doing this when I did do it, but all I did was save photos to it because I was just like, I think I was 11 when I did that. So yeah, it was a long time ago and I didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, USB stick, really, really cool idea. You can put Word documents onto it, PowerPoints, you can put like audio files on it, not people, like audio files. And yes, so USB stick, so many possibilities with that. If you are interested, I can do like whole separate episodes about some of these, because some of these start getting quite niche. So yeah, next one is a diary format, and I absolutely love this. I try and do this as often as I can because it's like a really good thing to do. Like today I walked by the river, I did some meditation, I did this, that and the other. So you can write down a log of all the spiritual practices that you are doing. Especially if you're trying out new rituals, you can then look back at the rituals you did in the past and then do them again in the future. So yes, it can be a nice way to chronologically see your journey instead of just having, this is an article about what an athame is, this is an article about how to meditate. And just having randomly, instead of having that, it can chronologically show like your path as a spiritual person and all of that sort of stuff. So yes, the next one is you can make podcast episodes. So all of the information that you learn, you can make it into a podcast, you can release it, you can keep it to yourself. But yeah, that's a really creative, interesting idea that you can do. The next one is to have a YouTube channel. This is my main grimoire Book of Shadows that I have at the moment. I see my YouTube channel as my grimoire or Book of Shadows, so you all have access to my Book of Shadows. And yeah, you can just kind of, everything you learn, you just make it into separate videos and share it with people, and that's kind of what I do, and I love it because I can just see like my different mindset, different parts of my practice, see how it changes week on week or even day to day. It's really, really cool to see that, and you can be so creative with how you make videos, and you don't even have to grow your channel like a lot to get the benefits of it. You can just have it like with just close friends watching it, but if you're interested in growing it can be a great business as well. So yeah, the next idea is to use a Notion. I tried this once, it didn't work, because again, I was really, really young, I didn't really know how to use Notion properly. Now I use Notion so much. I highly recommend using Notion for like your life and just like anything. It's so great. You can create different pages, you can create like calendars and all sorts. I won't go into Notion and all of that because it's really complicated, but it is really simple once you watch like a tutorial of how to use it. But you can just store so much witchy information in such a nice aesthetic way that I find more aesthetic than like using Microsoft Word. And there's a Notion app, so you can quickly add stuff to your Book of Shadows when you're out and about, and then you can type it up on a computer, then you can copy and paste things onto it from the web that you want to as and when. So yeah, that can be a fun idea. The next one is a really, really long PowerPoint or separate PowerPoints. This is just an interesting way you can store information. If you are more of like a digital witch, that could be a really, really interesting idea and thing that you could explore. The next one is Canva. You can make little canvas with all this stuff that you like. You could store all your witchy information on Canva as like posters or as documents or as PowerPoints or as videos. There's so many different things you can make on Canva, so that could be a really, really interesting idea. The next one is an Instagram account. I made a whole video about how you can have a witchy or spiritual Instagram account and like ideas for that. But you can store some witchy information on there if you want to keep more of a digital Book of Shadows, but it depends how open you want to be about your craft, and you'll have to be careful to like block people you don't like so that they can't see all your information. But you can make a completely private Instagram, so if you wanted to make some like really aesthetic entries to a digital Book of Shadows, especially if you're like a closeted witch, you could have like a private account and then like make your little stuff on Instagram like that. That could be a nice idea. So yes, the next one is a long Word document. I tried this once when I was doing research into like fairies and stuff. I just wrote a massive document with just everything on it. And this can be really good if like a word count motivates you. So by that word count going up, it can motivate you to research more and write more. So that can be a cool idea, and then you can print it off and you've got like it all there for you. And yeah, especially if you're more further on in your craft and you want to write a book, you could turn your Book of Shadows into a book, you could publish it, you could put it on Amazon. So yes, the next one is a really silly idea that I came up with but I'm going to share it anyway. So that is to hide separate pages of like a book of shadows in different places where you might use them. So like in your garden behind a rock, you might store a piece of paper that says about garden magic. If you like put it in like a waterproof container, that could be a cool idea. A little bit like geocaching. I don't know, or like if you want to do something about like bathroom magic, you could put that in your bathroom. I don't know, just a silly idea I came up with. Next one is, I don't do that. Why did I say I do this? I don't do this. But you can print out pages and have them on the wall or around your altar and your magical space. Oh, maybe. Especially cards like this that you would have like in a book of shadows. I just have them out and then I can like glue them to the wall and then I can use them. Especially like this, the Prayer of the Chalice. That's something I got from the Chalice Well in Glastonbury. I can like read that if I wanted to. If I had like prayers that I like to say, if you are more of a pagan, then you can put stuff to do with your religion like on the wall and stuff to do with like deities, pictures of deities, and that can be like a book of shadows that's kind of like scattered about. But again, that is a silly creative idea I thought up. Anyway, the next one is the Notes app on your phone. Everybody has a Notes app on their phone. You can just write your witchy notes there. It's not the safest way to store information though, I've said. Oh no, that was the one about Minecraft. Yeah, now we're going into crazy mode. So yeah, in the Notes app, before we go on to Minecraft, in the Notes app you can lock pages with a password. So this can be really cool if you're a closeted witch. You can store away information and people can't get to it and it's digital. So yes, and the next one is this is one of the silliest ideas I've ever come up with, but in Minecraft you can get books and you can type information into it. So if you like Minecraft and you play Minecraft a lot, you could store your witchcraft information in books in Minecraft. Don't ask me how I came up with that. I honestly don't know where the hell that came from. But yeah, I said not the safest way to store information because someone could steal the books and then you don't have them. I don't know. I haven't played Minecraft in a while. But anyway, next one is a Book of Shadows library. This is such a cool idea because you can just have like multiple books that are to do your Book of Shadows, so then you don't have like one book and you're trying to put everything into that one book. Having multiple can be great because it reminds you don't have to be like a perfectionist, and it reminds you that your practice is a journey, so you've still got so much more that you can write and stuff like that. So that is a really, really cool idea. You can have different separate books for separate topics, like one for crystals, one for herbs, and etc. And the final one, we are descending into chaos completely now. We have a mental one. Yes, you can just store everything in your brain. This is the Book of Shadows I currently have, as well as a YouTube channel. All of my witchy information is just here. Oh gosh, we're on 10%. So yeah, you could also have you could visualize yourself having like a library in your mind and like store the information in there. But yeah, I think we've gone full crazy mode now. That is I think that's 22 different ideas of different Book of Shadow formats. I hope you found one that works for you, but don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to go and buy a new notebook if that's what you need to do. Don't feel guilty about buying a new notebook if it's something that you need to do to get a new Book of Shadows. And yeah, just experiment, see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you, and yeah, your journey is long. You have such a long time to experiment with different sizes and formats of Books of Shadows, and you can have more than one, as I've said in this video. So yes, that is all I have to say for today, and I will see you all soon in the next video and the next episode of this series. Bye!